Hello. Okay, quick story. I moved into a new place a few weeks ago, and it wasn't all at once. I was going back and forth between my old place and my new place, slowly shifting things over, sleeping in one bed and then the other, really going between two places. And somewhere in the middle of that transition, I noticed something strange. I stopped making my overnight oats. So for a long stretch at my old place, I had this ritual. Every night before beds, oats in the jar, milk, maybe a little maple syrup, maybe some berries, set it in the fridge, and then just wake up and breakfast was ready. So I did all of this without thinking. It was just a habit. It was just what I did at the end of the day. So my old kitchen had a certain layout. The jars lived in a specific spot, in a specific cabinet. All the things were as they were, and my hands knew the sequence. No deliberation, no willpower, just oats. And then I started spending nights in the new place. And I kept forgetting. It was the strangest thing. Like night after night, I would go into bed and realize I didn't make the oats. And this was after having this habit for so long that really was strange. I would tell myself, okay, tomorrow night, I'll remember. And then I would just forget again. So this went on for maybe 2 full weeks before it hit me. That habit didn't live in me, it lived in that kitchen, in that space, in that context. So the cue that triggered that whole sequence, the cabinet door, the countertops, the counter space, the way the light hit the stove, where the jars were, none of that existed as it was in my new place. And my brain wasn't broken. My environment was just different. And the habit, which had felt so solid and automatic, really turned out to be partly made of drywall and cabinet handles. So I was really interested in this. Just thinking, it got me thinking on how our identities are wrapped up, or if they could be wrapped up in our environment, our context. And I hadn't really thought of that much before. So I did some quick reading on it, and it seems that there's a name for this. Seems social psychologists call this habit discontinuity hypothesis, fancy name. And so the idea is that our habits are anchored to specific contexts, uh, including physical contexts. So when the context changes, whether it's a new job or a move or a different commute, something something that's impactful in your physical routine, then these anchors come loose. That old autopilot goes offline, and then we're forced to actually think about what we're doing again. And that might sound like a problem, but I really realized that it was actually a window and interesting to us, especially as creatives and musicians and writers. Because if our environment has that much power over what we do automatically, then changing the environment is one of the most direct ways to change who can we can become. I think it was James Clear that called this environmental design or environment design. So engineering your space to the path of least resistance leads toward the person that you want to be. And I'm still figuring out what that looks like in the new space. The overnight oats are not back yet every night. Still working on that, but I'm paying more attention now. And I'm noticing which corners of the house pull me toward the things that I want to build and which one pulls me toward some distraction or things that away from what I want to build. So the move gave me something really interesting and rare. It gave me a moment where nothing is on autopilot, or much less is on autopilot. And this can be a little uncomfortable, but it's also a chance to choose what the new defaults will be before the defaults choose themselves. So I realized that my environment doesn't only hold my stuff, it supplies pieces of my identity. And when we want to change the space, you get to ask, which pieces do I want to keep and which ones are just the drywall talking? So it's an interesting thought to be more mindful about new habits that I want to take on, new ways of writing, new habits of creation, all having shaken things up by this move. And it's been in, I think that's relevant for us as creatives. Anyone who's creative, who creates things for a living or who aspires to, That's something even on a small level, we don't have to move to take control of having a context change in our lives, like whether it's doing work in a different room or having breakfast in a different space. Though you may not have moved your house. It just got me thinking on the things that we can do to shake it up, to create some new habits if we want to create those. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Bye bye.